Today we're going to do the oil change in a 2019 Chevrolet Silverado 2500 HD Duramax. We're at 11% on the oil service bulletin on the dash, and we're going to take the 5W40 winter oil out of it, and we're going to put the 15W40 summer oil in it. And what we're doing, we're going to use Shell Rotella T6 15W40. We're going to use the AC Delco PF2232 filter. And this particular job is going to take 10 quarts of oil. Also, for the job, it'll take a 15mm wrench to get the oil pan drain plug out. You'll need a oil pan, catch pan that'll hold at least 10 quarts of oil. And then you may even need this type of filter wrench to get to the filter. That PF2232 is a rather large filter. Let's go back to the Rotella T6 for a second. Now, I'd been having trouble finding oil Okay, for this oil change, we're going to put in the Shell Rotella T6 15W40. I've already touched on that. But here in my area, we've had trouble getting the Rotella T6. So basically, what we're going to do today, we're going to put 8 quarts of the T6, and then we're going to use 2 quarts of the T5, which is a synthetic blend. I don't necessarily like doing that, but it is still 15W40, and we're still going to put 8 quarts of the T6 to just 2 quarts of the T5, as long as it's still all the same weight or viscosity. Okay, up here under the vehicle, this is our oil pan and this is our plug. We got to take this out, and then that'll drain our oil. Our filter is up here, and naturally, the way they do things, we're going to lose a lot of oil all in through here, and we're going to have oil caked all over the place. We'll have to have plenty of paper towels to try to clean up the mess, but it shouldn't be too bad. Done this plenty of times, so you'll also probably get it down your arm when you try to do it, but hey, it's the cost of doing business. The plug is generally 15mm on this truck, and I believe it's 15mm on our 2013 2500 HD also. That's a gasoline engine. That's the one we did the spark plugs. So let me find the wrenches and then we'll get to it. Okay, I've got the 15mm wrench on here. It's a reversing ratchet wrench. We'll see if I can loosen it and make sure I didn't try to be Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger and tighten it up. I did, so we'll use another wrench to kind of help us with some leverage. you can connect your wrenches like this, and that'll give you a little extra leverage. See there? Makes it easy. Okay, now I got it loose. We'll have to get the oil pan and we'll drain the oil. Hit the button. Okay, we got the oil pan, and I may need that wrench again because I just broke it loose. Now we'll try to get the oil out without getting it in the face. Sometimes we're successful, sometimes we're not. There, that time we were successful. Now once this all drains out, then we'll get to the oil filter. Okay, now the oil's drained. We'll snug it up. Let's just use my left hand since I'm not as strong in my left hand. I'm right-handed, so I'll use my left hand. Make me think somebody else is tightening it up. Okay, from here we're going to move to the oil filter. Now the thing about the oil filter, we can't use the fancy tricks you see on TikTok and put a bottle or something on it, because like I showed you, the filter kind of sits horizontally.
What's that?
This filter here is for the transmission, for the Allison transmission. This is the external filter. You definitely do not want to take this off. Leave this stuff for the pros. Us amateurs, we can do the oil filter, oil plug, that sort of thing. Okay, right here is the oil filter. Now let's hope
just don't
the guy that let's hope the guy that put it on again didn't play Arnold Schwarzenegger and tighten it up, and I guess he did. I tried to only put it on hand tight, but oh, we might be having some trouble here. All right, give us a minute. Okay. Yes, that guy that said he put it on hand tight. No, it was a little more than hand tight. I finally got it to move. It's still snug. Okay. Now we gotta make sure we got the oil pan in the right situation, because we will get oil all over us. This is in a little less than ideal position. Might not get oil on us, maybe. Oh, oh, oh. And as you can probably see, all of this stuff is in the way, and we'll have to get all that cleaned up once the oil drains out, and then we'll be back in business. All right, now it's time. We're gonna get the new filter out. as you can see, it's fairly large, but because of the location and the orientation, it's not like you can fill it up, you know, pre-fill it like some people do and put it straight up into your motor. Can't do that here because the orientation is something like this. But what we at least need to do is we have to put some oil on this rubber gasket. That should keep it from sticking and make it a little easier to get the filter off. The other thing you do is you make sure that you let me see the camera. You make sure that the area where the gasket goes is nice and clean. That way you're sure you didn't leave behind the last gasket from the old filter. So we'll just take us a little bit of the new oil and we'll just put a little spot on there. Take your finger and rub it around the gasket, get it all nice and lubed up. We don't want it to stick. Now, I know we're still losing or draining oil out of the filter mount, but that little bit of oil is not going to hurt anything. We'll give it a quick wipe again, and then now we'll start mounting this. Bring the camera in here. Now we'll try not to get it super tight again. Last time I didn't think I had it that tight. Okay. I'll just give it just a tiny bit. That should be good. Okay. Now we'll clean up a little bit. We'll go up top and start adding oil. Okay, what we're going to do next is we're going to add the new oil. And as you can tell, the oil cap is right here. So this is where we're going to add oil to. When we pull it off, there's a little hole here. We'll have to get a funnel, and then we'll start adding the oil. Okay, we're gonna see how good we are at pouring this oil so we don't get it all over everything else, and try to slowly fill this funnel. And we got to be careful because this funnel will move around. It's not the most ideal funnel for this job, but you definitely have to have a funnel. We are adding the new 15W40, which is generally what it calls for. I just put the 540 in for the summertime. I mean for the winter time, sorry. The 540 flows easier for better, easier winter starts. So basically we'll keep adding until we get at least the 8 quarts in, and then we'll have to be really careful how we add the last 2 quarts. Careful, because even though I didn't know 1.5 quarts, I know it calls for 10 quarts. We've already added 8. These jugs come as 1 gallon, and we all know there's 4 quarts in a gallon. So I put 2 gallons, which is 8 quarts. Now, instead of just dumping 2 quarts in there, there may be residual oil that's left. Even though we drained it and we think we got it drained, there still may be some residual old oil. So we're going to put 1.5 quarts, and then what we're going to do, we're going to start the vehicle, let it run for a few minutes, then we'll let it sit, and then we'll let all the oil drain back down into the oil pan, and then we'll check it. We may need to add a little bit more, but we're going to go with 1.5 quarts right now. Okay, as you can probably see, we're at the 11%. That's what I was saying. But now that we've changed oil, we're going to reset that with the center check mark on our steering wheel. There, now we've reset it. We're at 100%. We're going to back up off of the ramps, let the truck run for a couple minutes, then we're going to shut her down and let it sit a little bit, and then we'll check our oil level. Okay, truck's been sitting roughly 10 minutes. We'll pull the dipstick, wipe her off real good. And we want the oil to be somewhere between the ends of this little piece here. Okay, somewhere in there. I'll put it back in. Okay, we're almost there. We probably need to add that other 1/2 quart that we were talking. Okay, we got a little bonus going on today. We're going to grease some of our grease fittings while we've got it up on the ramps. We got one, I don't know if you can see it, right below my fingertip is a grease fitting. There should be one on either side, and then there's going to be one down underneath. We'll get to that in a minute. So let's grease these 2 top ones and we'll be right back. Actually, let's just demonstrate this top. You'll feel that grease gun like click into place. And then what we'll do, we'll just give it 2 pumps. 1, 2, and that should be good. We try to do this every oil change, and naturally sometimes it's hard to get the grease gun off. But try to do this every oil change.
It's recording.
Okay, we got to do another one down here on the tie rod end where we've moved underneath the truck. We did the top up on the upper control arm, and now we're doing the tie rod ends. So there's a grease fitting here. Make sure you hit those too when you do your oil change.